spoke to me, and I've kind of since a very, very young age wanted to be a burlesque dancer. And at the age of 49, almost 50, I got the opportunity to actually do it. I was taking a belly dance class in a studio where a troupe called Burlesque Noir rehearsed. And
Is that here in Albuquerque?
Here in Albuquerque, yeah. And I told the owner of the studio that I was interested, and she said, you know what, we're recruiting. Come to a meeting. So I did, and that's where it took off from. So that was back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was with them for 2 years, and then a little bit after I left, the troupe kind of disbanded, but the dancers are still out there. I got the chance to work with the great Holly Rebel, who's very well known in the burlesque in and around town, and even in some other states, as I know she goes and competes and stuff. Joy Coy, who's also a wonderful influence, the great Mary Jo Monroe, Annie Aurora, all these ladies were just really wonderful to work with because they knew the business, they knew how to come up with acts.
Mm-hmm.
They knew how to, the training and things that I got to do with them was really, really, really nice.
Yeah.
I was even in a couple of group numbers with some of the girls, which was a lot of fun. We did one that was the entire troupe group number, which was kind of a unique thing. We didn't very often do that. There were sometimes groups here and there that got together and did little numbers, but that was a great production, and it was red feather fans and red boas and just different things, and it was really nice. So that's how I got started, and my first act, I worked with a choreographer, Tony. He had suggested I try something maybe with puppets, with the music that I picked. And I had wanted from the beginning to sing as well as dance, because not many burlesque people do that. So the music that I first picked turned out to be a song that was so old we couldn't even pull like the vocal track out so that I could sing on top of the music. It was just one of those tracks that was all done in one big thing, so I wasn't able to sing it. But the music lent itself well to like a puppet act.
Yeah.
And so Joseph Aranda designed and made my puppets. And I had some friends, Brandon Esparza and James Martell and Patricia Gatley, who all came and helped me with working the puppets. And it was a feather boa act, so I had this pink dress, and so the feather boa was white with pink tips. And it was so large it swallowed me alive when I first got it. I was like constantly trying to work with it, and even during the night that I performed it, my first act, I kind of got tangled in it a couple of times, but it still came off well, and I felt good, being my first attempt at doing burlesque, so I was pleased. And then, like I said, I did some different group acts. I did a chairs act, which that's tough, because you're...
Apparently, there is a drive-by hunky banner thing. I don't know. Honk, honk, honk. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. So, do you think that... Here, my question is, so when people say, oh, blah, 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 so, okay, you're a stand-up comedian. Well, tell me a joke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people always have different reactions to things, and do you ever feel that you had negative reactions when you said, oh, I do burlesque?
Not usually. Not usually. There were some people who weren't great about me doing burlesque, but my mom, she was like, really, you're going to be taking your clothes off And I was like, it's not.
But you don't really get nude.
No, you don't, because you have pasties on.
Yeah.
And but you get down pretty close. I mean, but generally you have a thong or something on the bottom.
The important parts are covered.
Yeah, the important parts are covered. And to me, it wasn't so much about the getting naked part as it was about the showmanship and production of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because generally the acts that are done they're very well thought out. You have to think about what's going to be on the stage with you, what's coming off, where it's going to... I mean, you have to really plan
right
for it. So that's more what it was about for me than, the stripping. So, but it is striptease, and that's that's the thing about it. It's striptease. It's not stripping.
Yeah, I mean, so, I mean that was one of my questions, and I was sitting there thinking, I mean, when you go, oh, I do burlesque, and people go, oh, so you're a stripper?
Yeah, no, and a lot of people say that, oh, so you're a stripper? No, you're not a stripper. You're not necessarily. I mean, although there are some burlesquers that do pole acts, but it's not like going to a strip club.
Yeah,
it's totally different experience. So it's more of a showmanship and a performance than it is about, showing off body parts.
Well, I mean, I know. I mean, I just think in some ways it might. I mean, again, you think about that. Okay, like if you're in burlesque, you must be a stripper.
Right.
If you're a stripper, you must be a porn star.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I think that makes it hard. I mean, I don't have the coordination to do burlesque. I'm much more like I dance like Elaine on Seinfeld. I have no coordination. No hand-eye coordination.
Right.
So, but I think it's fascinating. I got to do a show with Abigail.
Uh-huh.
It was a comedy show, like right at the beginning of COVID.
Oh yeah.
And that was pretty cool. And is there a lot of drama in it?
Oh, there.
Women are cat. See, here's my thing. Women are catty.
They can be.
And even if you go in with the purest of intentions, I think that things get said, feelings get hurt.
Yes, and that happens, definitely. I mean, I know that I remember reading posts and things about, we need to not be doing this for our community. Let's not, tear each other down. Fortunately, the girls that I was with in Burlesque Noir, there wasn't a lot of drama within our troupe. We did a lot of, like things together that we would just come and hang out to peer reviews where you would perform for the troupe, and then they would help you improve your act or do whatever it took, to make it better.
Right.
So there wasn't a lot of most of the time between the troupe, within the troupe, it was camaraderie and it was support, and that was one thing I really liked about them.
Yeah.
Because they were very supportive and very giving of themselves to help me grow. And that's really what I was looking for. But outside of the troupe, I know that there were people that created a lot of drama. I mean,
and I hate to say that because, unfortunately, it's the same way in the comedy world. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's the same way in any artistic endeavor.
Yes, I agree.
That it's a matter of having drama and what's said and what's not said and all, who's the shitster,
right.
who's the, and weeding that out. I mean, because I know that like some people have, stop performing because of it. Stop doing this. I mean, you're not performing now. Why?
Right. No.
What's the reason? Tell me why you're not performing, Mr. Mayor.
So mainly it had a lot to do with, and part of the reason I actually was dancing at the time was to try to get my body moving because I have fibromyalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have like bad back issues and things like that. So what kind of got me out of it is my body wasn't taking it anymore. I was in pain all the time. And so I just felt it was time that I needed to get out of it because I was trying to do too much. You know what I mean? Movement is good. And for fibromyalgia, I like to be moving around and having my body moving. But you can't go past a certain point. You know, after that point, then it's more damaging than it is doing me good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what happened is my back started really giving me problems, and it was harder for me to do the movements that I was wanting to do to fit in and make my acts good.
Do you think that a lot of dancers end up with a health issue kind of thing from the dancing?
I don't know. I don't think so necessarily. It just depends on how good a shape you're in. And because I've had some...
Well, I'm out!
Well, I mean, and I don't mean like how good your body looks. I mean how...
No, I'm just like not in shape.
How healthy, like, you know, if you don't have any back issues and stuff. And like because of my back issues, I was having pain down my legs. And I couldn't do the moves anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And to the way that... Because I'm real critical of myself.
We're all critical of ourselves.
When I do performance, I'm like... This has to be this way. And if I can't make it that way because of limitations that my body is putting on me, then I just say, I'm not going to do it. Because I'd rather have it be the way I want it to be than...
That's the unfortunate part about being a perfectionist.
Yes, it is.
So, like, for me, I paint.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm painting, I get to a certain point, and it's really sweet because the person that I'm seeing, as a friend, you know, we hang out and stuff like that. Very sweet. I'm like, I hate this. It's like, oh, is that your work? And I'm like, yeah. And it was like, is that your work? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, I like that one. I was like, what are you talking about? I hate her face. Because I get to the face, and then I'm like, I don't really like it.
Yeah.
You know, oh, the eye's wrong, or da-da-da-da-da. And so, you know, but out the door goes 4 paintings that I hated.
Right.
And it's like, I'm getting them framed. I'm like, okay. Because I'm my own worst critic.
Yeah, I am too.
You're your own worst critic.
I am too, my own worst critic. And the last solo act that I did, I was really proud of because that's the one with the feather fans, the blue and gold feather fans. It was an act that I choreographed, and I got to sing in it. It was to Whatever Lola Wants, but I sing it Whatever Gigi Wants. So that was my crowning achievement. It was kind of like what I was... When I first started, here's kind of what I envisioned my top act to be, you know, and I was able to do it.
So here's my question: do you think you'll ever perform again?
You know, if I felt like my body could take it, and I was in better shape, it's possible I might. There's acts that I have in my head that I've thought of, you know, this would make a really great act that I would love to actually bring to fruition. But I'm also getting a little old. I mean, let's face it, we're not a spring chicken anymore.
Well, you know, it's not about being a spring chicken. I mean, I'm 55, and
me too.
I don't consider myself old.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't really either, but...
I mean, trust me, there's days where, like, oh, my knee hurts. Oh, my God, I'm falling apart. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's like, I really don't feel old.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I know, I mean, like I said, when I first started Burlesque, I was 50. So, it's not like you... there's an age limit, and that's kind of the other good thing that's nice about Burlesque is... there's not really, there's younger girls that do it, there's older women
I don't
that
think
do
there's
it,
an age limit for anything, to be honest with you, except joining the military.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I mean, I could still become a police officer at my age. But I don't know that there's really that age limit. I mean,
yeah.
I just think it's about having the confidence and moving through it and being happy and healthy and
it is, absolutely.
But have you thought about producing shows?
No, that's never really.
Because I mean, think about this. You can still do an act if you're producing and do the minimum because you're the host,
right? Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're the host, and then you get the acts there, and then you get them moving, and you know, but you still get to be in that atmosphere and that feeling and the glory and it's not and again, you're the host. You're still dressed up. You still get to do this. You could do the minimum. You can feel like that and bring your ideas into a creation.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. I had never really thought of producing. I know it's stressful. Like, I remember watching our Holly Rebel, who was producing most of our shows. She was just, poor thing, stressed out all the time. But bless her heart, she always did a fantastic job, you know. And she always had amazing acts. So, I've thought about it. I haven't thought about producing, but it might be something I could come to.
I think you would like that.
Yeah.
I think that you could still have fun with that without putting too much strain on your body.
Yes, I agree.
And still be the host and glamorous and in the limelight and have the fun.
Right. And see, that's one thing that was one of my favorite things about burlesque was dressing up. Although it would take me generally pretty much most of the day to get ready, but that's typical of a burlesque dancer. You know, getting the hair done and the makeup on, and you know, getting to the theater or to the show wherever it's going to be.
Yeah.
That was all part of the fun of it. You know what I mean? That was a part that I really enjoyed that I would love to get back to, and I still. I mean, I also do karaoke, which
I know you do karaoke, and that's fun. I mean, it's so.
But I still, it's like,
we're
especially when
artistic and performers, and we still find an avenue. You still have to have an avenue to live.
Yeah, to do it. And I still think, you know, like I said, I have acts in my mind. I have songs that I listen to that I'm like, this would make a great act, and I start thinking of what the act would be about and what it would look like, and so they're there. The acts are there. It's just a matter of body functioning with me.
Right. So here I am a huge classic fan. Like music. I mean, I listened to music from the 50s before I was, you know, and that is just one of the favorite things. And I'll be honest with you, one of my favorite songs is Julie London. Have you?
Julie London.
Mm-hmm. You got to listen to it. It's totally I'm going to play this. I don't have the rights to this music, but I love this song.
Hey, Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
I want a diamond ring, bracelets, everything. Daddy.
Oh, this would make a great act.
Oh, this would absolutely be amazing to do a burlesque show, too. Because if you listen to the whole thing, it's about a sugar daddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's great. I need to look that song up. What's it called?
It's called Daddy by... Actually, you know what? What kind of phone do you have?
It's it's T-Mobile thing. I can't even remember what it's called.
Watch this.
He said he couldn't hear us, but now he can hear it, so...
Okay, what's your phone number?
Do I want to put that on there?
You can just type it in there because I'm going to send you the song.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
You don't have to put, no, don't put your phone number on the air. I know, I think the thing is there was something not on here, and I think we did start the show. I do want to just, here, I'm going to throw my intro right here in the middle. It's Women, Went, and Wine. Nicolina next, and my beautiful guest, Gigi Demir. Because I'm thinking the beginning of this show did cut out a little bit, and there might not have been any sound, and then I realized I had the wrong button on. But we're going to go ahead and continue to do this. So, thanks for joining us. Sorry for the technical difficulties. You know, I even started early to try and make sure nothing went wrong. But again, it's like one of my favorite things is I love music from the 50s and 60s, and I'm a huge Vicky Carr fan and a huge Julie London fan. I mean, and that to me, I'll be honest with you, that song to me, in my room, in the dark, I was totally a burlesque star. Awkwardly, but totally a burlesque star. Because I did a dance to Daddy, I Want a Diamond Ring.
That's a great song. I mean, just the beat and everything to it makes it great.
And it's really funny because the story behind that is she was married to an actor. And I'll tell you, this is the first. She was married to an actor that, remember Emergency?
I remember the show.
Bobby Troop? That was her husband.
Oh, okay.
He wrote that song.
Really?
And the funny part about it is it's even funnier is because, like, I used to work at a bar in the late 90s, and it was called Penn Station, and the owner, his name was John Klein, and he was really a cool guy. He was a very cool guy, but we were talking about stuff. He goes, Julie London, I love her. He says, that's the voice that men whacked off to.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, okay.
Okay, right.
That changes the meaning for me.
Right? Just
thanks.
A little.
I twitch.
Right?
So, but
that's a great song.
it is. It's called. Anyway. But if you can find it, like I think the thing is you know, just for your creativity, you definitely could get out there and you can go, hey, let me produce a show.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think Red Velvet Underground, nice little place, very cool. I remember the first time going in there thinking, wow, this would be a great place to do comedy.
Yes, yeah, it would also be a great place to do burlesque.
Absolutely.
A larger stage, but...
I mean, you have that back area.
Oh, yeah, in that back one, yeah.
That back room, you could do it.
Yeah.
I really do like the lighting in the front room, but that back room, you could still do the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you'd have a place where you could change and all that stuff. And right behind the curtain and all that. Right. I mean, the problem with the front room, there's no backstage. There's no green room.
Right, yeah.
So, I think you should try to do something.
I'll have to think about how to go about that. Who to get in contact with. Like, I still know people, you know, that are dancing and stuff.
So like the lady that was supposed to, you know, our other guest that was unfortunately couldn't make it today. I mean, one thing I wanted to talk to her about. She was producing shows.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I don't know. Maybe you could talk to her and say, you know, hey, what's the best avenue?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
And definitely just kind of figure out and lay your groundwork, because I think, again, that would be a perfect place. Honestly, the other place where I work, where I bartend, would make a great place to do those.
Yeah, that would be.
It would.
And there's an area there you could play with and work with on a stage and everything.
You know, because we have the folding curtain that I mean, if you pulled it back a certain way, you could use that as your entrance. You know. Yeah,
or you could even use like that side of the.
Well, you can use the coat room as an entrance.
Yeah.
Like the green room.
Right.
You know.
There's good space there. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's good space there. I mean, but I mean that would be a great place too. Once it's. I mean, because I'd like to actually do some comedy shows there.
Well, I know I've done. There was a show I did at Ned's with Kevin Kennedy.
I probably was there that night.
Yeah, it was a comedy, and he generally, there was supposed to be another girl that was dancing that night with me, and she didn't make it at the last minute, but I was there and performed. I don't even remember what.
I was probably there that night because of the fact, and I was actually the first comedian there.
And see, I was probably later in the show, but that's weird. We must not have known each other then.
I didn't even get on stage that night. I
Really?
was so upset.
Wow.
Because, again, I was the first comedian there, but it was like almost 11:30, and I'm like, do you know when I'm going up? And then I'm like, I got a paper due. I got to go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was really super disappointed. So I wouldn't work in that kind of situation again.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the problem with that, because it was the Vagrant Variety, right?
Yeah, it was Vagrant Variety.
Okay.
Yeah.
The problem with that was it was the attempt to pack too much
Into one thing.
and it went on too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that? Blame It on Rebecca. Were they there that night? The band?
I don't remember if there was a band. It might have been.
Because there were like two people there, two musicians, a magician,
See, I do remember the magician.
and what was the girl that does the spoken word stuff?
I don't remember that, but I do remember the magician, and there might have been a band.
Yeah, I mean, it just went on, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's too much.
I mean, ideally, I think it would be great if you could have like a show and break it up with a little bit of a local talent musician,
Mm-hmm.
and then go into. I attempted a show like that. It was at an art gallery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a young artist that was here, Adam James, and he moved to Nashville or something like that. But I thought he was super talented.
Yeah.
And we did comedy, and we opened, gave a break of music, and then finished up.
Yeah.
Um,
And see, that's good.
I
That's
think
a good link.
I honestly, really, in my opinion, like, unless you're in an actual theater, I think some of it, I think that open mic that's multi-mic, I prefer those over an actual comedy open mic.
Yeah.
Because I don't want, I mean, I'm not trying to get off the subject, but I don't want to tell my jokes to a bunch of comedians, because I want a real reaction from my audience.
Right. Right. So it's better to have other.
I mean, it would be like you going and dancing in front of a bunch of people that do burlesque.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're going to be like, I've seen that routine.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I hear that. Yeah. But that's a good idea. I know, like, when they do Southwest Burlesque Festival, which is usually in February, they would do it at the Chemo.
Right.
And that was always amazing. I never got to actually dance on the stage. I did to kitten one year. I don't know if you know what kittening is. Kittens are basically the people who come on the stage after the dancer has danced and taken off articles, and the kittens are the ones that go up and pick it up.
You pick it up.
So I kittened one year for Southwest Burlesque, and that was amazing because you were in an actual theater with this huge stage that you could use to perform on, and some of the acts that perform during Southwest Burlesque Festival are just phenomenal. I mean, amazing. And they come from all over. I made some friends from New Orleans, some from Colorado, So that's kind of a nice experience when you get to meet dancers from other places.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, yeah. I could, there's we've attempted some comedy festivals here, and I think Mary Bird was a part of one, and I would like to kind of see that. I mean, I'd like to kind of really focus on our arts. I just think that we don't have enough of that. We don't have enough to promote it. I mean, and again, it's that sense of camaraderie. We're in some ways, we're so cliquish.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't smoke pot. Never done drugs in my life.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I feel like if I'm not part of that cool crowd, I'm not going to get booked.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel that way. And so I have to figure out how to produce my own shows I will be trying to utilize, you know, that German American club to try to start producing some shows there.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, but I would also kind of like, I don't mind mixing it up. I don't mind doing a variety show. I did, like I said, I did the show with Abby and Big Bear, and that was a mixed variety thing. There were comedians, and then there were, there was the burlesque,
right.
and that was really cool because you kind of, I like the idea that you cater to people's taste.
Right. Yeah, and I think that, comedy can even be a good mix with burlesque, and I think that works because the crowd, usually the crowds for burlesque are a little rowdy. They're they're a little excited to be.
But that's okay.
But that's okay. That's meant for that particular type of performance. And I think comedy is a good break between acts to give it a chance to kind of.
Yeah.
Bring it down a little bit, have some laughs, and not be so quite rowdy, and then do go back to burlesque. I think that'd be a great show. But I like the idea of a variety show too, because you just don't see that anymore.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore, and I think that would be kind of cool. I mean, and the whole Vagrant Variety kind of thing. That's a good idea, but you have to keep it to a minimum. That show should never be more than an hour and a half.
Yeah. You're getting into 3, 4, 5 hours.
Yeah, but when you're 3 to 4, 5 hours. I mean, because I got there that night at 7, and it still hadn't gone on at midnight.
Yeah, and that's not. That's a little.
It's not cool.
That's a little long.
And like
not cool.
And and I'll be honest with you, I had to fucking listen to bad fucking music. Mm-hmm. By the way, there's profanity on this show. But yeah, bad fucking music, bad songs. And granted, I think there's some talented people, wonderful singers, but your music was shit.
Yeah.
You want to know why you're not like a recording star?
Right.
Not that I'm saying or judging anybody, because I'm not like quite that famous on as a comedian yet. But I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah. I think that it's sad that we don't have like variety shows that have things like this.
I know that Dory had that idea, and she really wanted to kind of do that.
Yeah,
she kind of wanted to do it like a talk show kind of thing. But the problem is that I don't know. You got to listen to people. You got to hear what they got to say. There's a way to do it.
Yeah.
I attempted to get a good producer, and I think the energy was not right between the two of them, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But, you gotta. I'm fucking smearing my makeup all over my eye. I got a black eye. But I mean,
that's actually really good.
You gotta be. You have some more.
Yeah, I gotta go shopping after this. I'll be like around my driving with a shopping cart. Yeah. That'd be bad.
I wonder if that happens. Do you think they could arrest me in a store for drunk driving with a shopping cart? I really need to know this. I need an answer. I'm hoping somebody out there can give me this answer. Can I get cited for drunk pushing a shopping cart?
A shopping cart. This is an important thing to know.
Important thing to know. I think it's imperative that somebody out there go out there and do the research for me and let me know.
Yes, I agree. I agree. But I'm good on the wine. That was actually very good, though.
So, and like I said, I think you should. I think that would be good for you.
Yeah, I really need to get back into. I mean, karaoke is one thing because at least I'm singing, and for me, I don't know how many people see me at karaoke, but
you still perform.
I perform when I do karaoke.
Yeah.
And like when especially at the state fair when they had the state fair competitions, if I made it to that big stage, I'm going to get totally burlesqued out, and I'm going to go up there and perform. So that's a good thing for me. But I miss like even our theaters now. Like I was in a show, Oliver.
I know, and you unfortunately, you and me are in the same boat. I had a great show coming up at the African American Performing Arts Center with Honest John and Chris Thomas, and I was so excited about that. And the week before it's canceled because of COVID.
Yeah,
just like you were going to do Oliver.
Yeah, and then the night of our final dress rehearsal is when we found out we weren't going to be able.
Yeah,
to
you're not gonna do that.
So it was really sad, and I really enjoyed just like the rehearsals and everything. You know, the audition, the rehearsals, everything leading up to that, because I'm a performer, and theater, you know, has been my life since I was very little. I've been involved in theater one way or another over the years, on and off. So it's just, I'm sad that our performing arts have seemed to take a hit.
Oh my God! I think that's the whole thing. It's so sad. It's because it is. I mean, the last show that I was going to do that ended up not happening was basically comedy during the pandemic because people are so affected.
Yeah, and comedy during the pandemic would be a great thing because people need to laugh right now.
I mean, Dave Chappelle had COVID.
Yeah,
but because he had to make a living. You have to make a living. You have to get out there.
Yeah.
What do you do? I mean, whether you're a comedian or a drag performer or
whatever,
burlesque performer, you know, or a singer, how do you do it?
Yeah,
it's almost ridiculous. So my opinion, not that I'm like ashamed or I don't think that there's validity of COVID, because I know people who have had it.
Yeah,
I know people that I would say they've all survived. The people that I know that have had it, you know, they say that the worst thing was the body aches.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is we have become so antibacterial everything. Antibacterial soap, antibacterial this, antibacterial that, blah, blah, blah. Antibacterial wash. So now what do you think we did? We basically have stripped our immune system
right
to stop fighting.
Right. So, let's get back to getting a few germs so that our bodies can fight them off.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand that, you know, it's been a serious thing, and I know some people are like, well, no, it's just not even a thing. You know, it's no big deal. It's just going to go away. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. But at the same time, I think people who are in our places of power need to realize that people need to live. You know?
You have to live. You're basically killing small businesses. Our amazing governor is certainly one of those. You know, believe it or not, we at the GAC we got cited.
Really?
One night, and it was so sad because I guess somebody had complained and said, "Oh, you're having parties here on Friday night." No. And the 2 Fridays before we got cited, he had been dead.
Really?
I'd been home by 7:30.
Wow.
And it was just like, okay.
How are we getting?
So and when they cited them, there was only 2 people in there.
In that big old place.
There were only 2 people. I mean, I wasn't there. It was the president of the club and another one, and he was working.
And that was it.
But they kind of cited us with a warning saying, oh, if you do this again. It's like, but after a while you got to go, you realize you're killing people's livelihoods here.
Yeah. Livelihoods and just being out there and be like, I can't believe how much I didn't realize how much I'd missed people just being around and seeing friends and stuff until when they first opened billiards back up, you know, with masks and everything for karaoke. And I went one night and I was like, oh my gosh, all these people I've even forgotten that I never see, you know, that I used to see all the time. And I'd forgotten about them because I hadn't seen them in so long. I think people need to be around other people. I mean, it's just who we are. We're a social creature, and I think that it's sad that
depression is on the rise.
Depression is
why?
Up.
Because you've isolated people.
Everybody, yes.
I mean, there's a video called and it's really powerful. Somebody sent it to me. It's called I woke up we woke up. We went to sleep in one world and woke up in another.
In another, yeah. Because it's sure.
Oh my God! I fell asleep. So sorry. I woke up on my couch.
Yeah. So it's just a whole different way of living now. And it's happened relatively quick. It's not like it's been over hundreds of years. We've changed our way of life. It's been like over the last 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, whatever it is, almost a year, I guess. It's our lives are just not the same as they used to be, and it's just crazy.
Well, I mean, and I'm going to read this because the guy wrote this, and it's we slept in one world and woke up into another. Suddenly, Disney has no more magic. Paris is no longer romantic, and New York, everyone sleeps, and the Chinese Wall isn't a fortress anymore. Suddenly, handshakes is now shaking hands. Suddenly, kisses and hugs become weapons. Not visiting parents and grandparents become an act of love. And suddenly, we realize that power is not valuable. Money is not that powerful. But they did change it. But it was like we fell asleep in one world and woke up in another. Suddenly Disney is out of magic.
Yeah.
Paris is no longer romantic. New York doesn't stand up anymore, and the Chinese Wall is no longer a fortress, and Mecca is empty. Hugs and kisses suddenly become weapons. Not visiting parents and friends become an act of love. And suddenly you realize that power, beauty, and money are worthless, and can't get you the oxygen you're fighting for. The world continues its life and its beauty. It only puts humans in cages. And I think it's sending us a message. You are not necessary. The air, earth, water, and sky without you are fine. And when you come back, remember, you are my guest, not my masters.
Wow.
And it's very powerful because if
powerful.
You think about that. And so like with this whole COVID thing, I really do think it's put that perspective of knowing that we have to live our life.
Right.
But at the same time, stop destroying the place that you live in.
Yeah. Because nature will fight back, and this is what's happening, and it's all terrifying and saddening, and just it's just sad to see the world like it is.
It is,
now.
But we're going to get better.
Yeah, and
we're getting better.
We're
We're moving forward.
We're moving forward. The vaccine is out, and I heard this morning that they're saying by the summer we should be getting more normalcy because people have been vaccinated by that time, and it'll be okay to be out. But I know, especially for me, anywhere I go, I've been really careful about wearing a mask because I live with my 84-year-old mother.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to worry about that.
I don't want to bring it more. What scares me, it doesn't scare me about me getting sick. It scares me about bringing it home to her. So, but she got her second vaccine. She's feeling a little foolish today. So, but
she's got to just take care of herself.
She's got to just watch it.
I mean, and even then they're saying that's not even 100% guaranteed, but you're better off fighting it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and we take it seriously. I mean, it's not like, again, it's funny because my daughter was working at a job, and anytime somebody came down with COVID, and a lot of the staff came down with COVID, and they were saying, well, you got it at the grocery store. No. I'm here 8 hours a day in a medical environment.
Right.
Pretty sure I got it here.
Yeah.
Because what do you think I do when I go to the grocery store? Lick the fucking clerk?
Yeah, right? What am I doing? I'm getting it there.
No, what I do is I put my face up against that freaking plexiglass and blow it up like a pufferfish.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think we do?
Right, yeah.
I mean, I did actually notice the little sign on the store that says any more than 3 visits in one day is not acceptable at the grocery store.
Really?
I'm like, oh my god, this is my second time. Never mind, we'll be back later.
That's funny, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, it's over at Albertsons right here. It's so hilarious. I'm like, I never noticed that.
You can't go to the store more than 3 times.
You
So
cannot go to
everything
the
in 2
grocery
trips.
store more than 3 times because you might risk infecting somebody.
Right.
So I'm gonna say, so we got a few more minutes here, but one of the things is I want to give you an assignment.
Okay.
Gigi.
I'm down.
Miss Demure. That sounds so sexy. Gigi Demure.
Oh my God, you wouldn't believe, girl, the names that I went through to come up with that one. Because of course
let's talk about your name. Because I still have like 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes of this.
It's of course a stage name.
Absolutely.
And, so I think I have, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. If I'm not mistaken, I have some of the names that I went through. Right here. So, Anita Tatas. Simply, what? Anita Tatas.
Anita Tatas. That's a drag queen name. I'm sorry.
Simply Insatiable. Let's see. Tantalizing Tink. Salacious Sammy. What the heck is Victoria Voluptuous? QT Pie or QD Pie. Say Sensation. Phoenix Flame. I mean, I have a list. Farkle Malicious. Malicious. Fifi Delicious. But I wound up with Gigi Demure, and I think it fits me. You know, out of all those names.
It does, because, you know, it's really funny, because when Joe talked about you, it was, I'm like, blah, 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 how's Gigi? And he's like, well, Tammy. And I'm like, who the fuck is Tammy?
Yeah, right? Like, nobody knows.
That's Gigi's name. I'm like,
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people don't know that. They think that Gigi is my name.
Yeah.
That's
you look
how
like
they
a
know.
Gigi.
And I think the Gigi Demure fit because it was a little more tame than some of those other names that I had come up with.
Oh, I know. I mean, I think some of those names that you named off, I'm going to probably see on RuPaul's Drag Race next year.
Yeah. See, so I think that I came up with a good one. But that's the thing about becoming a burlesque dancer is you really become this other persona. And a lot of burlesque dancers do choose a stage name kind of for protection.
Well, it is a protection.
It is an adult entertainment industry, so you get creeps, you get weirdos, you get, but the people who are really burlesque fans, well, yeah, I mean, when I first created my profile, I used to get dick pics and all the time. I mean, just because I was a burlesque person. I had burlesque friends.
See,
and
if you had known me at the time and you would have shown me one of those, I should say, oh, are we playing a new game called Inchworm?
Now see, what I basically would do is post it. The fastest way for me to unfriend you, send me a dick pic.
Yeah.
So I did get some weirdos, and I still to this day get friend requests from men that I, all over the world, like Egypt, wherever, that I don't know. And now, because I'm not performing, I basically don't accept them. When I was performing, I did, because you want to have that.
Yeah, but the nice thing about
base.
so the nice thing about Facebook is you can create a professional page.
Yes.
Like I have one for my comedy. I have one for this show.
Right. And that's basically what I did. So
that's what you got to do, and then it keeps you private stuff private.
Yeah. But that was one of the fun parts of becoming a burlesque dancer, is just kind of figuring out who I was going to be as that character.
Yeah.
Because it's becoming another character on stage that you're putting out there, than you are maybe off stage. Because, I don't go around. Although, at the time, I did dress generally fairly burlesque-ish. Even not on stage. Like, I would wear sexy clothes or whatever when I was just going out to karaoke or wherever,
You did what made you feel good.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of... I mean, here's the thing. You gotta... So, like, for me, my comedy is about sex.
Yes.
And sex stuff. And the hard part for me about that was having to teach people that just because that's my comedy doesn't mean that I'm easy.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you get to talk to me inappropriately.
Right, yes. And that definitely happens in burlesque, is
right.
people assume that makes you that type of person.
I'm a human. It doesn't mean I'm a slut.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that, I'm a hussy. It doesn't mean anything. It means that I'm talking to you about experiences. I'm taking my pain and giving it to you into something positive and hilarious.
Yeah.
Some people will identify and some people will be like, oh, I don't get your humor. It's like, okay, because maybe you're a moron. But but really, it is that. It is that. It's just knowing. It's like, understand, I am a persona on stage.
That I'm not. That doesn't
in my private life, it does not mean you can talk to me inappropriately. Right. You can say things about stuff. I mean, you can say, oh, I really like this bit. But if you take it too far...
Yeah.
There was a comedy club. You remember the comedy club that opened for 2 weeks. They really didn't have any funding, and I was kind of part of the startup of that. And I was contacted by that owner, and there was stuff that was said, and I totally have my comedy bit about how dating's hard because, people ask you inappropriate questions, like, do you like to have your pussy eaten? And you have to have your pussy licked. And I'm like, okay, but she sheds a lot, because I'm talking about my fucking cat.
Right.
Because the comedian me kicks in.
Right.
And says, let's talk about this. So, but in a conversation from somebody that never met me, liked my comedy, loved my comedy, and I'm flattered. I appreciate it when you like my comedy.
Yeah.
Comes off and says, I would never ask if you like your pussy licked. I'm more of a tossed salad kind of guy. And I'm like, laugh out loud. I don't know how to respond to it.
Right.
I don't respond to it, but I'm not sitting there, tell me more. He says, and you're supposed to say with or without dressing. And it's like, okay, so you basically don't know who the hell I am.
Right.
And you're saying things about me because you hope that I'm going to fuck you?
Yeah, no.
Like, let me just climb right on top of it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no.
No. And I think that's the same way with any performing arts industry. Whether you talk about sex, whether you do burlesque, whether you're really a stripper, or or you do porn movies. These people are human.
Right.
They have lives, and you deserve respect.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a terrible person.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it totally doesn't. I mean, I'm definitely not that. When I'm performing. I'm being a character.
When you're performing, totally you are her.
Different. Yeah, I'm Gigi.
But when you walk off that stage,
I'm Tammy. Exactly.
You are no longer that person.
Right.
You are, hey, I look great in sweats. I can put my hair in a ponytail.
Right.
I don't fucking look like this when I walk out of my house.
Yeah. I'm totally that way. When I'm going to perform, I spend hours curling my hair, doing my makeup, making sure the costume's on right, and those, I will tell you one thing about burlesque. I respect those girls to death, because it is not easy to get undressed performing like that. I mean, zippers get stuck, and you have to have things that reach, and things happen with your costume malfunctions. And it's not an easy thing. So getting into the costumes is just as challenging. So it takes a lot of effort to bring that persona to life and really be her.
Yeah, you have to make that person real.
Yeah, and I mean, I even came up with a whole backstory for her, theaters she'd been. I mean, I made this character, and but it doesn't mean that's who I am off stage. And when I come off that stage, the first thing I do, put on some sweats and a t-shirt, you know what I mean? Let my hair down and get comfortable, because that's what I'm all about. Is I want to be comfortable.
People go, how do you want to be introduced? And I'm like, I don't know. So I came up with this introduction and that one. It's actually humorous, but there's some truth to it. Our next comedian is blah 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 Nicolina Nix, one-time Playboy reject. No, Playboy centerfold reject.
Yeah.
Nicolina Nix, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Nicolina Nix, and he introduced me, because then I get to come in and go, you know what, I'm not. I said, that's not a lie, because I did once send my pictures in my early 20s to Playboy. And, I did get the letter back and my pictures back that basically said, I'm sorry, Miss Nix. You're just not Playboy material. But I did change it and I said, I'm sorry, Miss Nix, but your buffet body does not meet our requirements. And I'm like, what you don't understand is with this buffet body, you're going to get your money's worth. So, I mean...
It works for you, though.
And I actually took that from my friend, because she talks about, because she's short, Eileen.
Yeah.
But she's short, she's curvy, and she's like, yeah, this is my buffet body. It's the kind of thing that you could take out. You're going to get your money's worth. And I told her, I said, I'm sorry, I have to steal that part of you.
She's awesome though.
But it's kind of funny if you think about that. It's like, so you make a persona on stage, and it doesn't mean again. And like people are like, you're kidding me. It's like, no, I wish I still had the rejection letter.
Right.
I was crying in my beer. So, well, thank you for coming out today.
Absolutely, this is a lot of fun.
I love doing these kind of shows. Getting to know people. I've done some great shows. I lost a lot of shows when I lost my job and couldn't afford to pay for my platform.
Right.
I no longer will make that mistake again, because everything is now downloaded to my computer.
Awesome.
And then I can, so if I ever lose it, I can go back again. But
awesome.
I would like to say thank you, Miss Gigi Demir. I want to say that. It's like a phone sex name. Miss Gigi Demir. How hard are you, baby?
Yeah, that works too.
Is that a roll of quarters in your pocket, or you're happy to see me? We'll be back next week with some new guests and new topics. But thank you, Gigi, for coming.
Absolutely, I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you got to come. Next time, we can talk about something else. Next time, we're going to talk about how successful your produced show was.
Right? That's my homework project.
That's your homework project.
I am on that.
This is Nicolina Nix, and you're listening to Women, Went, and Wine. Thank you, and have a beautiful, fantastic day.